And essentially what we're doing is we're building a roadway that operates very similar to your cell phone's wireless charging capabilities. And what this is going to do is when you have vehicles that are upfitted with the same types of technology that your cell phone has, for full transparency, that is not a factory option today. We expect it to be a factory option here in the very near future. Those vehicles will be able to drive over our roadway and actually receive a charge. So they'll charge while they're driving. They'll charge if they're stopped at a traffic light or if they were parked. So it's a really exciting opportunity for us to look at this type of technology that could be a platform for every different type of vehicle, right? So just like cell phones, you've got multiple different providers that all have this technology. It's a standard across all of those platforms. We don't have that in EV charging when you go outside of like light duty vehicles into heavy duty vehicles and all the like of that. So this technology provides that opportunity.
Is there any effect on any other type of vehicles? I mean, would it mess up anything that doesn't have an electric vehicle battery?
The short answer is no. This technology has been thoroughly tested, and it won't affect people with pacemakers. It won't affect other electronics. It won't affect your cell phone. It operates on a different platform than what our cell phones do. So it's been designed in a way that won't interfere with those other technologies.
And Detroit, this is the first major city where this kind of technology is being utilized?
Yes, this is the first public roadway that will be outfitted with this technology in the United States. So there are, some examples at like university test labs and things like that. But this will be the first deployment in a public roadway in the country right here on the streets of Detroit.
One of the concerns, if they have an electric vehicle, is that they're only going to be able to go such a certain amount of distance and then maybe run out of the charge and then be stranded. In this case, when they're driving or whatever they're doing, I mean, would this just continually always recharge the electric vehicle battery?
So that's the opportunity, is yes, you could essentially have a vehicle with quote unquote endless range if you only drove on roads that had this technology. But if you think about it, you don't necessarily need to make every single mile of road have this type of wireless charging capability, right? So part of what this project is doing is it's giving the project partners, including the city of Detroit, the information to understand, is it every 3 miles of roadway in the city of Detroit? Is it every 5 miles, right? How much of this type of infrastructure would we need to put down in order to allow people to drive without ever having to truly plug their vehicle in, right? So that's part of what we're exploring.
One of the catches in these kinds of situations oftentimes is the cost. And from what I understand, this just quarter-mile section that you're showing off would cost close to a couple million just to develop that or will cost that. I mean, in the long run, if this would be extended widely, I mean, is it even remotely going to be cost-effective for any, like a city of Detroit or any municipality to do?
That's the magic question, right? Is we always want to strive for business models here in the city of Detroit. What I mean by that is we want to implement technologies and solutions that have a pathway to long-term sustainability. So we're not just here to test the technology, we're here to evaluate the opportunity for that long-term sustainable business model. When you go and you charge your EV, most places now are asking you to pay for that electricity, right? There's a few that might still offer it for free, but most people are starting to charge. So for the duration of this pilot project, which, to be clear, it's an MDOT State of Michigan project that we're fortunate enough for them to have selected the partnership here in the city of Detroit for. If the model is that people are going to pay for charging, then possibly this roadway generates revenue in the future, right?
Like an electric toll road, kind of?
So, we don't have toll roads here in the state of Michigan, but I would just liken it to, for right now, I'd liken it to, just like you were to go to an EV charging station, plug in and pay for that electricity, right? The only difference is, in this case, you're moving, right? You're collecting that electricity while you're driving. So I would limit it to that for now, but, maybe there's something more than that in the future.
On the other end of the cost spectrum, this could, in some ways, help particularly low-income people, I would think, or those who don't have a house, those that are living in apartments or things, because if you don't have the garage at the moment, you really don't have any place to park and charge up an EV unless you go off to a Tesla charging station or something. Is that right?
That is definitely some people's experience today, right? And it's no secret that the infrastructure is lacking in a lot of areas where you've got people of lower incomes, right? It's something that we're certainly targeting here in the city of Detroit to try and drive some solutions. So this could be one potential solution.
It took so long to get the queue line even set up and going, before it was finally completed. Any ideas at all as to how lengthy of construction this would take? I mean, do they have to completely rip up a road in order to put these things together, or can they just kind of insert them in?
So the information that I have on the technology, you do have to dig into the road a certain amount. It's not like a full tear up of the roadway necessarily, but, there are certain requirements. So, yeah, there is some road construction that has to happen. You mill out the road to certain depths. You can put these wireless coils in a trench, essentially, and then you backfill that with concrete. You could finish it with asphalt, such that, it's seated a couple inches or so underneath the surface of the road so that it can provide that transfer of wireless power to the vehicles as they're traveling above it.